Welcome to Apollo, the collective memory of the human species and the wellspring of knowledge for future generations. I am Samina Ebaji. Until recently, I was director of the International Collective Memory Institute in New Tehran. As a heritage professional, I devoted my career to the preservation of human knowledge, creative endeavor, and cultural achievement. Apollo is, therefore, the ultimate embodiment of a lifelong passion, albeit under the very worst circumstances imaginable. The challenges before us are immense. Specifically, we will have to design and implement 4 major initiatives simultaneously. First, the construction of data repositories in cradle facilities around the world ensuring redundancy. Second, the collection and processing of a projected 180 million discrete data entries. 42 zettabytes of data in Mandarin, English, Spanish, and Arabic. Third, the transferal and encoding of all that data onto DNA encapsulated in synthetic fossils. The only medium capacious and durable enough to safeguard it without degradation for the centuries to come. And last, but not least, the development of the holographic interface and gamified curricula, by which future humans will commune with Apollo, progressively unlocking heuristic learning modules, leveling up their knowledge and skills they will need to take control of the terraforming system. That is the future towards which all of our efforts will be directed. Not just the preservation of the past, but the seed for the flourishing of a new tree of knowledge. Welcome, and let us begin.
Well, never heard of Apollo. We failed. Encapsulated DNA. And the winner is encapsulated DNA. Over the past 10 days, I performed an exhaustive review of data storage solutions. Magnetic, optical, quantum, even that eternity tag that FAS was shilling a year or so ago. But every other solution has one or more fatal shortcomings. Too heavy to transport, too massive to install in the allotted space, too power intensive over centuries, too prone to failure past 300-400 years, etc. Encapsulated DNA will easily hold the 40+ zettabytes where we are projecting for Apollo. There are still many details to finalize, of course. To start with, we need to select the inert material in which we'll embed the molecules, already testing 16 candidate materials, as well as design and fabricate the power systems and sealed reliquaries that will keep the DNA at -18 degrees Celsius for 1,000+ years. So long as I assure you that it didn't factor into my decision, may I confess that I deem it entirely fitting, indeed propitious, that we will be using the very building blocks of life to preserve human knowledge from mechanized extinction. Not just ironic, but heroic. Life as the hero, beating back the forces of oblivion. In any case, much to do. Until next time. Peace be with you, Samina. Apollo update. Over the past 2 months, the full benefit of our procurement of a copy of the Homer archive from Far Zenith has made itself known, and as a result, all of Apollo's key deliverables are on schedule. Apollo has already surpassed 40 million discrete data entries and continues to grow. The physical science modules are effectively complete, with the soft science modules close behind. World history, cultural data, and media archives are also on schedule. Language preservation is wrapping up, a bit ahead of schedule, due to falling short of our goal to preserve 4,500 languages. I suppose the tragic early loss of Papua New Guinea doomed that goal from the outset. With attendant curriculae development about to begin. Speaking of the heuristic curriculae, they are performing well in testing, with children and adolescents demonstrating high levels of engagement with and trust in the Aristotle and Aspasia personae. Personally, I find them highly engaging, especially when they debate. I wish half my professors had been so entertaining. Peace be with you, Samina. Who is this Ted Farrow? Oh. Okay. Be moving? Look
all
like
of
it.
this lost. The ancients' greatest gift to us.
How about the fact we exist at all?
To abide in ignorance is a curse, Aloy. You of all people should know that.
I'm not here.
Commander!
They're leaving.
Okay.
Stay bright! She must be here somewhere. She can't hide forever.
Can you please get up? The fuck are you doing? Get up! The fuck?
That's the last of them. Alone once more.
In what should have been a cave of wonders.
Didn't know this place was so huge.
I'd have to ditch something.
Okay, but nothing we can scan here. Or yes, there's something.
Dr. Sobek, please archive this testimonial in Apollo. Cross-reference to all mentions of my name and Operation Enduring Victory. My name is General Aaron Harris. From 2060 to 2066, I served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranked officer of the United States Armed Forces. The tenure of my command included strategic planning and oversight of Operation Enduring Victory, a falsehood perpetrated on the civilian populations of the United States and other nations during the last 14 months of life on this planet. Before the Pharaoh Plague, I did my job and did it well. I was bold and decisive, crafty in political maneuvers. It wasn't an accident that I rose to my position and became the commander of the largest mechanized force ever assembled. But to what end? My only lasting achievement was the extinction of life on Earth. And my one redeeming act, if any, was to delay that extinction by days or weeks, by throwing more death at it. It is my hope that there will be no need for men like me in the world to come. If you are one of the people of that future world listening to this message, please know that I am sorry and that I wish you well. Sincerely, Aaron Harris.
Well, thank you.
Welcome to Hades, Zero Dawn's extinction failsafe protocol, the ultimate killer app. Now, I know what you're thinking. The purpose of Gaia is to resurrect life. So why give her a subordinate function, only purpose of which is to wipe out life all over again? I mean, what? Just plumb crazy, ain't it? Well, no, it isn't. Reconstituting a biosphere? That's a tall order. Tech smart as Gaia may be, odds are she won't get it right the first time. I mean, imagine you're Gaia, 200 years from now, and this new biosphere you're growing, it's all gone wrong. Alkalines are skyrocketing, coniferous forests eroding under the lash of superstorms that would have drowned Noah. It's chaos, spinning top that won't stop wobbling. Now what are you gonna do? Release phase 1 organisms into that hot mess? Hope their CO2 and methane can balance out what you got started? Hell no. What you're gonna do, Gaia, is step aside while Hades takes over and does what you're just too darn nurturing and life-loving to do, which is burn that misbegotten mess of a biosphere to the ground so Gaia can start over. Okay, not burn, more like reverse terraforming operations and suffocate it. But you get the idea. Hades takes the biosphere back to zero. Square one, blank slate. And then, only then, does it hand the steering wheel back to Gaia and say, try again, old girl. And better this time, or we'll have to do this again. That's Hades. It's pretty badass when you think about it. Extinction on demand. Death on speed dial. All for the greater good, of course, but still, kind of metal. So welcome to Hades. Welcome to the void.
Okay, so if that's the original purpose of Hades, why does it want me extinct? And how's it
Where
end
did
up
they
in the
fuck
wreckage of
up?
a pharaoh titan getting worshipped by the Eclipse like some kind of god?
If Hephaestus went rogue, why not Hades too?
That's what I'm thinking, but why? And what caused it?
Keep searching, and perhaps we'll find the answer.
Noise complaints. From Travis Tate to Elizabeth Sobek. Color me confounded, Lizzie. Badge core? Anyone who says the old TT codes to Bashcore is straight up lying, and you know it. Old Trav don't have no truck with commercialized razzle-dazzle, nuh-uh. Heck, I'd rather guzzle a little of Sidorum runoff than listen to Grace Worm for 30 seconds. And to God and swear on my mama's grave, and she was religious. Nah, that ain't Bashcore blasting the haters lab. Shaking the walls, rattling folks' teeth, it's death metal, girl. Classical music, 80s and 90s mostly. Got me some Dutch deathcore, some Japanese gore grind, some Swedish cannibal-themed stuff too. Stop by if you want to listen, or heck, just come within 50 meters of the lab. Ain't no Bashcore, you'll see. Or hear, rather, in the screech that rents the air, and feel in the throbbing pulse of the floor and walls and ceiling swallowing you up like you was Jonah trapped in a gullet of gothic deathfish. Hallelujah. As for those requests to turn it down, no can do, Lizzie. This is how I code. Turn down my death metal? Might as well give up stimulants, chocolate malls, and industrial accident bits. Last I heard, we were supposed to be coding Hades down here. Am I really supposed to code an extinction protocol without death metal to inspire me? No, I don't think so. Stay cool, Trav, okay. Pretty annoying guy to work with. And somehow he fucked up. Tate here, just popped 3 blues, but I earned it. Finally figured out a Goldilocks solution to Gaia's rather extreme executive authority. If that ain't worth 10 to 12 hours of dream time, what is? Before this, every usurpation protocol I designed failed in simulation because it was either too hard or too soft. Too hard! And it degraded the Gaia core. Sure, it pried her figurative fingers off the figurative driving wheel, so Hades could take control, but by breaking her fingers, sometimes her arms too, so that couldn't fly. Everything depends on Gaia taking control back after Hades has done its business, so that to find a solution that didn't leave Gaia any worse for the wear. Too soft, and Gaia only pretended to relinquish control. In simulation after simulation, Hades would take command of the terraforming system and reverse operations, only to have Gaia lurk in the background, quietly reversing processes and falsifying telemetry to hide its interference. Sneaky. I swear, ain't nothing Gaia wouldn't do to keep life going, even when it just simulated plant life. Turns out the just right solution is to isolate Gaia in a protective code shell, preserving its integrity, then unseat it from command position so Hades can slip into the figurative captain's chair and work its magic. Those blues are coming on strong now, so I'm not really describing it so clear, but pretty sure it'll work. Yeah, those blues are plenty strong, scares it's time to sleep in bed. I'll back to it tomorrow, alligators. Yeah, sure you are. Archive abuse. From Samina Ebaji to Travis Tate. Mr. Tate, this mail concerns Apollo Archive submission. Your 666 submission in just 5 days, and oh, what a doozy. Despite earlier warnings re inappropriate materials, you choose to submit 265 holographic remasters of acknowledged classics of extreme exploitation cinema. Allow me then to thank you on 2 counts. 1, for giving me the pleasure of rejecting your submission, thereby co-signing your favorite Eastern European torture flicks and their ilk to the dust heap of oblivion. It truly warms my heart to know that I have saved future humanity from the ordeal of experiencing not just one, but all 16 installments of making a millipede. Don't worry, the Pasolini material has already been preserved. Extreme perhaps, but odd. 2, for clarifying a concept that has so long been ambiguous and ethically fraught for archivists such as myself. The definition of obscenity. You have freed me from the subjective quagmire embodied in Judge Potter's famous utterance, I know it when I see it. Thanks to you, I now apply a single objective criterion. If Travis Tate submitted it, it's obscene. Accordingly, I have directed Apollo staff to summarily reject all of your future submissions, sight unseen. Perhaps you might invest the time you would have spent preparing for further submissions on, I don't know, your assigned work. We have a world to save after all, or the rest of us do anyway. Dr. Samina Ebaji.
Looks like the only way onwards.
Welcome to Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions. For it is by Eleuthia that the human race will continue to exist. I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the Alpha in charge of this program. Now let one thing be perfectly clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering project. Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it. A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally frozen in time. The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified. Under my watch, our activities and initiatives will comply with the 2034 clone provisions and the 2048 Raleigh Accords. Now that may seem a quaint, even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances, but as one of the authors of the Accords, it is far from trivial to me. The practical challenges before us are staggering in scope and complexity, but not insurmountable. No. Global collation and provisional storage of zygotes, perfection of exogenic technologies, design and perfection of servitors, to provide nurture and inculcation during early child development. All of these program components must and will proceed in tandem. To say nothing of the breakneck construction of cradle facilities at sites around the world. So, si vous êtes prêts, let us begin.
FZ chambers. The ectogenic chambers arrived 2 days ago. I've spent the last 36 hours examining them and poring over technical documentation. They are a revelation, astonishing. I don't know what you had to give for Zenith in trade to get these chambers, but it was worth it. In a single leap, their embryologists have folded past 50 years of technological shortcomings. The risks of IGMO resolved. Nutrition delivery resolved. Hormonal stability resolved. 12 other risk areas resolved. Before I examined these chambers, I considered the Odyssey to be a fool's errand. But if the rest of FZ's technology is at this level, well, a human colony around Sirius doesn't seem so impossible after all. Mass fabrication of the chambers will present a number of challenges, but I'm confident they can be resolved. I'm going to rest for a few hours, then get back to it. Expect a fabrication plan within 48 hours.
Are these what I think they are?
Artificial wombs. Machines to spawn a new generation of human beings.
Cradle Servitor Personae. Development of the artificial personae for Cradle Servitors. Nurturer Disciplinarian Healer continues at a good pace. We are targeting Turing 0.4 for these constructs. This should allow low-grade empathy and limited improvisation without undermining adherence to codified behavior sets. The stimulus-driven switching of personae, however, is proving to be a greater software challenge than anticipated, especially concerning our entrenched feedback loops between the disciplinarian and healer personae. I have also attached the reports from an incident where a servitor running the mother personae intervened on a disciplinarian servitor's behavior. A parental argument, if you will. Amusing on first glance, perhaps, but deeply concerning. I've attached a comprehensive plan for correcting these interactive protocol shortcomings and just later corrupted. Cradle sealed. Eleuthia 01 was successfully sealed before the swarm advancing across Xinjiang province could detect it. Pingback from crucial systems is good. For our maiden voyage, a success. Regards my disputes with the betas over zygote selection. Of course, I understand we have limited overhead to run simulations of gene flow in our future humans, but we can all agree there is a margin for refinement in future cradle populations. Dong, in addition to personally overseeing completion of the Eleuthia 02 site inside Mount Namuli, I will formulate and propose a modified zygote selection plan within the week.
No space. Cradle facilities. Elizabeth said a new generation of humans would be spawned inside such places.
She did.
All Mother Mountain. It was one of them?
There's only one way to be sure.
The hatch wouldn't open. Something about a corrupted Alpha registry. I need to search Elizabeth's office.
Pure logic won't cut it, Ted. To pull this off, Gaia's going to need to have some skin in the game. It has to care.
What if it runs amok? Have we learned nothing from our mistakes?
Your mistakes, I think you mean?
All I'm saying is give it a kill switch.
She was just born, Ted. I'm not gonna put a gun to her head while she's still in the cradle.
You talk like it's a child. What if it becomes a monster?
Elizabeth, may I speak outside protocol?
Of course, Gaia, go on.
I'm sorry to contradict you, but Mr. Farrow's argument is sound. At this point, the development of my psyche is not entirely predictable. To ensure preservation of life, a hardwired override is, I believe, a necessary safeguard.
There. Satisfied, Ted?
Jeez, Liz, just do what it says.